they can get a chicken dinner and 20 kills just as easily. So this is definitely a game that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, and also in terms of momentum as well, it's going to be very different to Sandhawk, a map which starts off small and slowly starts to build up. Whereas here in Vikendi, it can almost be like a heel offer sometimes towards the end with those compounds where almost rotational plays are so paramount going into this one. But obviously, we are now ready with game 4.
Let's get it. Let's jump right into it. I think you're perfectly right. Oh, look at this first circle over here to the top left. So, you know, you look at teams like Omen Elite, Cloud9, Team Solid. They're going to be set up really pretty for this zone. But Team Queso, all these other squads that dropped early are going to have to make the rotation on in.
You're right. Obviously, Dave mentioned as well in the preface before the game actually did go live about Cosmodrome. Obviously, we saw from Seven Worlds Gaming as well. He loves Dino Park for a bit of that gimmick. Obviously, not the, you can see no players dropping there yet. Not exactly the best place to drop. But for your money, as a former pro player, for the viewers at home, if they're wondering where they should be dropping if it's their first time on Vikendi, where do you think are the most paramount points here?
I think you can't go wrong with just dropping center in the map. But, you know, Wildcard in the past, 80 games of scrims, every Vikendi, they were dropping right on top of Villa. And it looks to see that that's the same thing they're doing here in this game. One thing to note that looks a little bit different, though, is they look like they dropped one player off to Mount Kresnik to just solo loot, and it looks like he's dropping their solo, so Wildcard definitely saw something that some of these other players missed.
Yeah, I mean, typically if you're going to be seeing teams split up early in PUBG Mobile, it's usually a 2-2 loot split. In terms of loot, though, towards Mount Kresnik, is it really that strong, or is it more of a vantage point for Spring? Is he going to go there, try and get the elevated angle, and try and scout out the map, as right now we see the first phase circle go towards the northwestern side of the map?
Well, Spring is Wildcard's off-angle specialist, so if anybody's going to be doing that, it is Spring. And yeah, this is going to be great because while Villa can be hit or miss when it comes to loot. So for 3 players, you're going to have a better chance of getting looted up pretty well for that squad. But Spring, having Mount Kresnik all to himself, yeah, I think that this Wildcard team is going to be pretty set up here for the rest of the match.
Speaking of the teams as well, I mentioned it when Claris was doing his little introduction as well. I haven't actually casted any matches. You were the part of the duo that cast the 80 games of scrims. So for me, coming into this, it's almost like I have a fresh perspective. And especially for the South American teams as well, because at the World Finals in Malaysia last December, it was all really Team Queso that were stepping up from that region. Since then, though, Duke, what other teams from South America have you seen really come to the rise, and which ones should we be looking out for?
Well, I mean, hey, I think we mentioned it earlier, Loops, right now they're in first place. They were by far one of the most dominating teams in the scrims that we saw. Another team, of course, Team Queso. When I talked to some of these South American players directly, they all said that Team Queso is, considered the top team in South America. So I know that is a squad that a lot of these South American squads were gunning for. But at the end of the day, I mean, yeah, you just see the aggression from Loops playing so tight together. And yeah, I think they deserve to be in first place the way they've been playing these first 3 matches.
Yeah, and obviously this is game 4 on Vikendi, the first Vikendi we've seen so far in this season of Pro League in the Americas. And Vikendi, obviously notorious for sometimes having that slow start, especially as well, when we add in the added pressure of the first day of the season. A lot of these teams may start off quite subtle, quite calm, pick up their cars, pick up their loot, choose their compound inside this first phase circle, but then what? What should these teams be looking to do?
Well, I'll tell you right now, you nailed it around the head, because right now we're big chilling in Vikendi. That's usually when it starts off in these zones, but you can already see Ace, try to utilize that 4-car strat. I think it's going to be so useful going into the end game, where if you get into an open space, you're able to kind of set up those vehicles, blow them up, and get some good hard cover for the future. And you can see Cloud9 here. They're just trying to get looted up as well and hopefully find some cars.
Yeah, let's maybe touch on Cloud9 too, because there were familiar faces coming in from the last season of the Worlds, C9, Tempo Storm, Queso, etc. But so far, after 3 games being played, we haven't really been seeing them coming up top trumps. Instead, Instead, we saw Omen Elite take the top trumps in game 1. But besides that, Tempo Storm, Cloud9, 2 North American teams that were touted to come into this strong. Why do you think they've had such a slow start? What's changed from the scrims that you saw?
It could be so many different things. I mean, one thing that you can never really underestimate is that clutch factor, the nerfs. Now, back then at the scrims, it was $1,000 on the line every day. Here, we got $200,000 on the line. So sometimes it takes a little bit of players, to get those kind of nerves calmed down and get back into that rhythm. But if there's any team that can do it, you definitely see something to expect that to come from Cloud9.
Cool. So far, as you said, slow start for all these teams, as we're going to be eventually going into the second circle, as it's just a slow start until the blue zone starts to constrict the map. So far, though, 3-4 teams towards the eastern hemisphere of Vikendi so far. No teams currently situated towards Castle or Vornova, so the rotations from east to west should be fairly easy, but oh no, Ace. They've already lost a player early. It's going to be already a 4 versus 3 here as Ace might try and get away here scot-free with their squad still alive, as that may be their best bet because you're speaking about that 4th vehicle play.
Yeah, you know, I saw Xiaomi right there with the Bison being able to get that first kill here for this Vikendi match. You can't go wrong either picking up that Bison here in Vikendi because there's just 9 mil all over the place. So be able to sneak a kill off like that early, that's going to be huge. And speak of that, look at that. You see Enigma kind of having the same idea, trying to, you know, just poke at Xiaomi on the hill.
Speaking of the same idea, there's 16 teams still remaining, only 6 minutes in obviously, but the majority of the team's going to be situated towards the center of the circle. Ace trying to make the rotations around inside a better part of that circle, but it seems like really the only opportunities you have is towards the, Crickhouse above the center of that circle. But besides that, Ace trying the hardest to cut their losses, losing that player early, down to 3, using the vehicles to rotate out and try to get a better position towards the northern side, and that's exactly what they've done of this circle. But so far, just waiting to see for the action to start.
Oh yeah, it should start anytime soon right now. You know, with this kind of zone, it's so interesting to see like the experience coming from these squads, because you already see all these teams are already taking the center of the zone with only about 4 teams still remaining to be able to get into it. So I think for a good while here, we're going to see a lot of people just trying to get information, set up cars like we just saw Ace do in a safe position, because you don't want to get any of those lost for the rest of the game. And yeah, but you may see some transitions right here, and you can see Loops trying to catch Alpha 7 on the corner here.
Ooh, speaking of which, Lazarus losing Russell early. They're going to be down to just 3 players, as well as it may be more of a tally here for Lolo, as he does manage to get behind the rock, but his position has been seen. Ace Gaming as well. They did lose a player early, and that might actually affect their confidence here, Duke. I don't know if they're going to go for this, knowing that they did lose that player early, although Lazarus, they too are at 3. Molotov nearly being chucked out, but for now, more of a stalemate here, as both these teams don't want to risk going out early when there's still 16 teams remaining.
Lazarus is stuck right now, and you can see Ace, they have one corner, but Loops, they heard those shots, so they're on top of the hill trying to get some peaks and get some points of their own. So, Lolo, unfortunately, the rest of this Lazarus team that's stuck in here are going to have to make some big plays if they want to make it out of this one alive.
Yeah, 12 teams currently situated towards the mountain terrain inside this first circle, and that's going to be the HE dunked down onto Lolo. He is taken out of the equation as well as Ace. Trying to see if he can throw a smoke grenade down to apply some cover, allow the rotation from Nunes back towards his teammates. But then again, he may try and get a little bit overzealous here, Duke, as he knows exactly where the players from Loot are. Although Loot Esports so far today, Duke, they've looked on fire.
Man, this squad plays so well as a unit. You can just tell their synergy, always having one player covering the other, pushing together as a team. Right now, just trying to get all the intel they can. Nunes has a really good vantage point from this roof, but roofs are really scary because if he gets knocked right here, he's going to be in a tough position to get picked back up.
Yeah, it almost looks as if Loot Esports are trying to see if they can bait the death out of Lolo, almost as if they imagine that the rest of the Lazarus players are where Ace are right now, but actually it's going to be 2 separate teams that Loops are currently engaging with. But eventually Lolo will bleed out, and there you have it. Corral, I'm not going to finish that name, I know what it translates into. He does finish off that kill, and with that, it's going to be a player going out of Lazarus. 2 teams now, down to 3 players.
Yeah, he's kind of living true to his name. I think you've named it perfectly. He was on top of that rock, just kind of baiting out some shots because he knows if he did get knocked, he's in a safe position for his team to get picked up. And right now, I think we're just going to see a little bit of sharing this kind of area with Ace and Loops.
Brilliant. Well, you're touching upon experience earlier. Let's hear it from you then, Duke. Obviously, as a former professional player, I imagine you're still very well in contact with the players. I mean, even off camera, you're talking to me about some of the conversations you've had with Sixless and a few of the other players as well from NA and South America. Obviously, we've heard about Dave, we've heard from Sevens World Gaming touting a few of the players from Tempo and Cloud9, but for you and your money, which players are you looking at going under the radar right now?
Well, I mean, you got to take a look at Sixless, who is one of the most dominating players for North America in so many different areas. But look at this, hold on really quick. Team Queso losing a member to XQ Gaming. But to go back to my old point, I was able to talk to Sixless right before today's matches, and it's so interesting. It was even a shock to me to see him, be able to join Grunto Esports. And a quick reminder for everybody watching, Grunto Esports is a South American team. So when I talked to Six, I was like, how does that dynamic work with the rest of your squad? And he pretty much told me, guess what? Only one other player there speaks English. The rest all speak Vietnamese, you know, and it's so, I mean, basically, I am assuming their strategy is, hey, Grunto as the 3, they're going to be using their comm to make plays, and Sixless, we know, we've seen him be so effective as that kind of snake in the grass. You saw game 1 getting so many kills for Grunto, just doing what he does. So yeah, it just looks like he's kind of on his own. So as far as synergy comms go, I think Sixless is a dedicated player, but I don't know about too dedicated enough to learn Vietnamese in a couple days. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that dynamic plays out through the rest of this tournament.
Albeit, though, as you saw, he got his team that 3rd place finished. He finished 4th, but overall the kills tallied up as well. He did very well. We saw as well in the foreground behind, while we were watching some of the action there, that actually one of the players from Loops was downed, but not killed. So I believe, yeah, Loops are still on that 4-man squad. Lazarus, though, as we mentioned, they lost Russell early and Lola. In the background as well, another player from Ace being headshotted down. So we're starting to see some action teasing us as well. We're just waiting to see for things to kick off because Duke, all the teams, bar 3, are currently situated inside the center of this circle. It's only a matter of time.
They're so quick at just rotating, get the best position they possibly can. And right now, like you mentioned, they're just setting up, getting ready, and hopefully looking to catch out some team late on the rotation. You know, so far you got XQ Gaming with 2 kills on the board leading this match so far, but they're at the bottom edge of this zone. And by the looks of it, this zone can go in any direction. So if I'm any of these teams right now, you know that those IGLs, they're preparing. They're talking to each other, getting those strats, routes, because what else are you going to do? You know, for the most part, unless you see someone drive up, you know, you're going to be just kind of holding that location. So right now you want to have all those strategies laid out for any possible circle that's coming up.
So I guess during the downtime for you as a former in-game leader, it was this time where you had to theorize, okay, what happens if X, Y, Z happens? And almost have 3 playbooks for one thing that may happen. Makes sense. Obviously, I imagine the other in-game leaders are currently fathoming what to do next, as we're about to see this phase 3 circle, and as you mentioned, it can really go anywhere. Towards the north, TACAZ, there's nothing really there in terms of teams, but below it, towards just north of Dino Park, we see a few teams situated there, Wildcard and obviously XQ Gaming, but besides that, again, still a bit of a stalemate. And maybe this is time for you as well, Duke, just to mention about your favourites coming into this event, because we didn't have that time before the game started. We went straight into Vikendi. You know, is it the obvious pick? Are you going for Cloud9, or is there other teams that are taking your fancy?
Well, you know, I think going into today, you had to look at tempo. They dominated the second week of scrims, you know, taking, I believe, 4 first-place finishes. You know, out of the top 4 players in total kills of the entire scrims, 3 out of the 4 were Tempo Storm players. So, yeah, to see them kind of, you know, struggling here is definitely tough. But I think that, you know, they just got to hit the P's and Q's, do what they normally do, and they should be able to have it. But you can see the zone shift right now, and it looks to be a very, you know, comfortable zone. Just really nice, chill, real friendly. So it looks like we're going to see some more just kind of waiting for the rest of the game here until the next zone.
Yeah, Mesexis and Alpha 7 currently potentially locking horns shortly if the zone does favour either of those squads. Alpha 7 in the last game, very close to finishing out in the top 2, or nearly winning actually. Getting quite lucky there. They exited their compound there in Sandhawk during that last phase, but maybe they can have a bit of redemption here. But then again, Sandhawk can seem almost like a bit of an RNG map sometimes, depending on how it goes, whereas Vikendi's more strategic. It's slow, Rick. It's calm. It's about compounds, it's about rotations, and obviously having that playbook.
I think you named it perfectly right there. Sandhawk, that 5th zone is the MVP. That's the kill leader when it comes to Sandhawk right there. So if you're one of the unfortunate teams that get stuck out and you have 5, you know, really good squads holding you down, you're going to be in big trouble. But if you just kind of look at it right here, with this kind of zone, Vikendi, there's so many dips, so many little crevices where teams could get in. So even if that zone hard shifts on you, you have a much more likely availability to still find a spot, as opposed to, you know, Sandhawk, you just gotta lay down, because that's really about all you can do.
And I've been dying as well to ask a professional player this question. With these crates, how much value are you putting on them right now at this point of the game? You know, you're 50 minutes in, you know there's lots of teams out right now. Can he try and take that risk?
It's It's definitely worth it. You know, you think about it, you know, that level 3 gear can be so huge towards the end, especially in endgame if you get a hold of that M249 or that MK14. Those are so huge. Big advantage to have, especially in close quarter combat. So it could definitely be worth it, but at the end of the day, you want to have all 4 up. That's the main priority. And if you feel like you're going to lose one person just for a crate, best to probably leave it alone.
Yeah, Beowulf going down as well. In the midst of all of that, XQG though, they're going to be coming in hot and fast trying to take this compound. No one here though from Kultur. Instead they're going to be arming up just northern side of that ridge. But oh my goodness, actually one of the players here, Zyfan from XQG, will be coming up close just to try and test the waters here. No one's shooting back at him just yet. He may have caught a murmur or a whisper as to someone may being there, maybe heard a footstep or two, but going to be falling back to the rest of his squad for now. But you are, as we said, 16 minutes in, 59 players remaining, 16 teams as well, as we are seeing a stark contrast to the other games we've seen so far. And we mentioned as well Beowulf being downed, not out for the count though, he was revived by his teammates. But Cloud9, shaky start once again. It felt like we were casting them before back in the World Finals. They were so strong in terms of rotations, and that's what they showed in scrims as well. It was rotations. It was Tempo Storm who were getting the kills, and it was Cloud9 getting the rotations and the chicken dinners. Why can't they translate that here?
There's so many different variables that come into play. You know, team comms, team communication is just so huge. If you just have one player that's kind of having an off day, it could really just throw a wrench into the game plans. But I think, you know, Cloud9, like you mentioned, is one of the strongest teams when it comes to rotating, throwing down smokes for down players. And it's kind of funny because in the earlier games of the scrims, Cloud9 was struggling in both week 1 and week 2. But towards the end, they straight up dominated. So who knows if maybe they're just trying to create some hype towards the end. I seriously doubt it. But at the same time, they gotta definitely pick it up here this game.
Let's see then. Omen Elite on our screens. As they are, you could argue, have one of the best compound positions right now. They're just north of the center of the circle. Actually, it's Kultur and EX Gaming that have the best positions right now in terms of the center of the circle, as they did win that little RNG as we are into phase 4 now. But as we are about to get to that phase 6 to phase 5 circle, what is it really here that the teams have to try and work out? Are they trying to get loot? Are they trying to get positioning? Are they trying to get early kills? What is the commodity right now for these teams?
Right now, of course, you know, just great positioning, hoping you get the zone. Your zone is your friend in this position. Right now, you can see a pull-up, though, from Loops, taking out some players from Mezexix right now. It looks like they're trying to get some kills early on, and heck, kills is what they're good at doing. And you saw some great shots there onto Vega.
Yeah, finally we see some action, and it's going to be Loops cleaning that one up for them. 14 kills for them so far, all 4 players, still alive as well and kicking. So strong start so far this season in the Pro League Americas here for Loops. And those were one of the names, one of the teams that I was not familiar with coming into today. Obviously, you mentioned they're from South America. You mentioned how they've had this rise recently, and you said they're one of the teams to look out for in terms of dark horses. Mezexis, though, maybe they're going to be struggling here. It's all down to Darius. Last player alive here. I guess Duke, the best players, try and stay alive, as we saw Sixers do, and get that 4th finish.
Run it high. Run it high. That's really about your only thing you can do in that position. Loops already with 4 kills. You can just see the confidence coming from this squad. They're not afraid to take a fight early on, and they're going to have to take a fight because look at this zone. A good solid shift south there on the absolute north. All these teams are about to get into it. So we haven't seen a lot of action yet, but we're definitely about to see some right now.
Here we are, Tribe King A as well. I've got a soft spot in my heart watching him cut shapes in the rave back in Malaysia. But now, can he try cut into this phase 4 circle as he's up against Garcia, Paris Boy, and a few other players coming out from EXG. And then obviously they have to get inside the circle. They have the high ground though, this is Tribe. But as you said, King A, the IGL from Tribe. How has he been so far in that in-game leading position?
You know, it's tough because at the same time, you look at Tribe Gaming, most of these players are one of the very few in North America to both have NA, LAN, and global LAN experience under their belt. But at the same time, when you put all those different players together, synergy is everything. So kind of talking to them and seeing them struggle in scrims, I think just their biggest issue is communication. Just kind of getting on the same page. Because when they're on the same page, man, they're a tough team to beat. But you got to be on point. You got to be on point because all it takes is one slip up and it's all over. But look at this. Here they go.
Oh, finally we see some action, and it's going to be the boys we mentioned. It's Tribe trying to see if they can crash on this compound here from EXG, but so far, kills going 1 for 1 as Tribe make their way upstairs. Paris Boy going to be eliminated here. Yeah, that's going to be one of the players. King A, he was down as well. Maybe they can try and revive him if possible. They've got Sam as well far back to try and scout out if there is going to be any more squads trying to go for the third party. Garcia, though, chucks out the grenades. Trying to slow down the push here. Tribe, Sam now as well, trying to join the action here. He's going to be coming in, but I believe Tempo might be getting a whiff of this as they are down the ridgeline. They may try and come in for the third party, but it's Garcia up close with the Mac-10. King A goes down. We see some action as well from C9 as they're being disposed of right now from Team Queso, but that's all in the background. Right now in the foreground, it all comes down to this. Garcia.
Semoga and Sam, last one's up right now. Semoga in first person, trying to make some huge plays. And Sam finally joining him in this fight.
Garcia goes down, and that's going to be it. EXG are going to be eliminated out in 12th. We saw a few more teams as well hit the count. Cloud9 went out, Team Queso went out, Omen Elite went out as well, as Lazarus did fall, and they were the 16th team. 2-4, and we see it now as there's a buffer on the teams being eliminated as 6 have gone in just a matter of seconds.
Ooh, just like that, we're into it, and Tribe able to get those kills, but unfortunately stuck with only 2 left, having to gain his own, and 2 more teams go out, Alex.
Yeah, this is getting hairy quickly. 21 minutes is the timer that it really kicked off, and I said phase 6, phase 5 is where the heat would start. It felt like we were such a slow starting map here on Vikendi, but Tempo trying the hardest here to try and get some more kills. Obviously, that was their favorite play over in the scrims, but here we are in the officials. And that's where players aren't going to be so lackadaisical. That's when players aren't going to give away those kills for free. And I feel like if you are trying to bank on getting kills in the official matches, which you got in scrims, it can be so much harder to do that. You know, if I'm an investor, I'm going to be putting my money in Cloud9 in terms of the rotations. As you would imagine, that'd be much easier to transition over from scrims into officials. But so far, I imagine the remaining 8 teams suddenly saw that bloodbath and are thinking, okay, let's just hang tight and we'll wait for the other teams to kill themselves.
Definitely, and I think that speaking of rotations, Tempo, they need to make one right now. You kind of see them a little indecisive, trying to decide whether they want to gatekeep Tribe or get in his own. But Alpha 7, GG, they're in it right now as they crash this compound.
Yeah, let's see what they can do. They're not close to the Mac-10, but good enough for one. Going to be traded out there by the players from XQG. Now they have to try and evaluate this situation. 3 players here from Alpha 7 are down, just crawling around their vehicle, which is currently in flames. Pathetic fallacy for the squad itself, as here you have it. G360 going to be easily collecting these kills here for XQG. And then there you have it in the foreground, just there on the hillside, the remaining player there from Alpha 7. Mitek and Luke
Tempo
as well.
Tempo and Team Solid getting into it. Rain, getting knocked in the background right now. Prezi trades all over the place. Here comes Tensa with the Uzi in hand, trying to finish it up and get a good position here for this Tempo squad.
Let's see then, Team Solid, not quite so solid as they're standing on shaky legs, just 1 player alive, NTX. He's going to say, nice try. You're not going to be getting me with that grenade as Tensa comes in close. It's going to be Tensa up close. Both these players, the Mac-10, trying to see if they can rattle off the shots and fall back. Oh, maybe a poor play there. Yeah, there you have it. Plays the rotation as well. Tensa takes that kill, eliminated our Team Solid, and now we're down to just 7 teams.
And speaking of Tempo, struggling in these first 3 matches, but they're in the zone here, and they got all these other squads holding the edge right now. Tempo in a great position. Only 2 players left, though, and it's HH24 and Tensa. These guys have played together for so long, coming from Team Totality. If there's any 2 players you want for Tempo, it's those 2. So looking forward to see how they're able to hold it down for the rest of this match.
Ooh, Gronto and Alpha 7 going to be eliminated as well in 7th and 6th, which means now down to 5 teams and 14 players. 24 minutes into this one, as we saw almost a stalemate for the first 20 minutes, and then suddenly the action started to kick off. Teams now started to make the rotations inside the circle. Actually, this phase 7 circle, Rick, there's no one inside it currently. It's anyone's game here to try and get inside the center of it, or try and claim a compound. The issue is that there are no compounds to try and get inside of instead. They're going to try and make some man-made ones. Wildcard Gaming, but it's not working out for them just yet. And the car as well is going to explode inside the smoke. And with that, the players just trying the hardest to survive. There's only 1 player alive. It's Essor. He has 3 players to try and revive him, and they know exactly where they are. The smokes as well are going to be fading soon, Jukes. I imagine this is just a death wish.
What a tough break for Wildcard. Wildcard and Colt2 BG, the only teams up that had 4 players. But Colt2 with a huge play, knocking 3. Acer doing his best to try and get these pickups right here. And it looks like Colt2 is going to give them the opportunity to, as they're opting to choose zone instead of kills, and I think that that's probably the smart play in this decision.
Let's see then. XQ Gaming, as you can see, 11 kills so far into this one. Definitely leading the tally in terms of kills. And that's going to be so important for them in terms of points as well, being added to that tally once they eventually try and finish first. Oh, Wildcard Gaming are struggling, yeah. There we have it. We said it was inevitable, and it is. Wildcard Gaming out in fourth, as now we're down to the big three, and this is where the points really matter. As Kultu start to make their own here by the trees, making the cars and smokes into their compound for now, but Tensa, he knows exactly what's up. He spots them out.
Oh yeah, they know exactly where he is. I think Tempo have the probably best position here, but Kultu, they have the numbers, and with those cars, they're gonna have some good makeshift cover in that position. Now Kultu, they're currently sitting in fourth place for this game in kills right now, so they definitely want this win, but Tempo, Tensa, and HH24 are gonna have something to say about it.
Yeah, the issue though for Tempo right now is they are the only team currently outside of this potential final circle, as XQG are really struggling here. Starlight going to be going down. There's still more players here from XQG, but the question is how many, as there's two remaining so far for them. But for Kultur, they're down to 3, and Tempo Storm, as you said, Tensa, HH24, the two remaining players here. So fairly even, but maybe not for much longer, as Tempo has something to say.
Look at that, HH24 making plays right now, dominating Colt 2, as there's only one member left, Fran, trying to hold on for his squad, but that car's on fire.
Yeah, this is going to be frantic. 2 players to revive. They know exactly where he is as well because of the down and Tempo. They can play the slow game here. They know that the circle's going to be coming in shortly. They've got 2 seconds until the zone starts to constrict it for them. Can they try and finish off this squad? Can they try and get it down to 2 players? As eventually they're going to be losing that advantage they have previously tried so hard to gain. AZ from afar has the scope as well. Just spots out the head over the course of the road, but can't manage to connect the shots as of yet. But there you have it. Fran, last alive here from his squad. And in the meantime, though, Tempo still applying this pressure. So much damage coming out from them as they are currently trying to get to that top kill tally. It's 13 for XQ Gaming. And for Tempo, it's 10, so they're 3 behind. So maybe if they can finish off the kills, they can try and get it, but no. Zyfan, he spots it, and now it's only 1 player from Tempo. There's only 1 player as well. There's Fran from Kultur, so XQG looks so strong.
Yes, they do, because Shifan knows exactly where Tensa is holding this position right here. But it's all about who is going to hit those. You see him throwing those mollies, trying to get some pokes onto Tensa right now. Oh, that's Colt 2 out, so right now, it's it. 2v1. This is going to be a huge play right now.
Let's see that the zone's coming in. That made us end it here. XQG made us take the win from the zone itself. Tensa trying to see if he can survive for just a few seconds more, hoping that one of the players from XQG will go down to the zone, but no. Grenades, Molotovs, they know exactly where he remains. It should be the win coming out from XQG. I think that may be it, Rick. Yeah, they go down. It's going to be the win coming out from XQ Gaming. Tempo Storm eliminated in second.
Wow, you know, you look at there. Heel strat. You mentioned it earlier right there. The Candy being one of those maps where you're always